Sometimes in life, you just get lucky. And in this instance, I most certainly got lucky. So how did I get... Oh, God, where did you come from? Oh, what's it? Ah, okay. Before we start digging into what's in this box, let's have a little history lesson. This is an Electrolux Lite. It is model number Z1610, or Z if you say English wrong. This is actually the top of the line original Electrolux Lite. So back in '89, Electrolux launched the Lite series, and there were three models: Z1800, 1810 and 1820. This is pretty cool actually, because it was actually manufactured in 1989, so we know it's a very early Electrolux Lite, and quite rare as well because it's the top of the line luxury model. People don't normally buy the top of the range or the bottom of the range, and actually when you've been doing this hobby as long as I have, it's quite easy to find the middle of the road models. It's much harder to find the base machines and the luxury machines because people were looking at them in the shops and there was like £10 difference between each one. So they would think to themselves, well, for £10, I don't have to have the basic machine. I could have the one with the flex rewind in it. And do I want to spend £20 more to have an electronic slider? And they were like, nah, not really. So they always, well, usually bought the middle of the road cleaner. So finding the base model and the luxury model is actually quite hard. Funnily enough, we actually have both of those machines in this shot at this current moment in time, which I think is pretty cool. So back in '89, when the Lite went on sale, as I say, there were three different versions. There was the base model, which was just on and off. Middle of the road was on and off with flex rewind. Top of the line was flex rewind and electronic power. The Lite was a great machine, it really was, and it went on for many, many years, and it was updated and reworked by Electrolux numerous times. It became the Bolero, the Tango, the Chic. It had lots of different names, but all basically the same body style. Oddly though, when Electrolux launched this, they killed off their Slimline series. Slimline was actually the budget model in the entire Electrolux range, the budget cylinder model. We're only talking cylinder cleaners here. Now Hoover would quite happily sell you a budget cylinder vacuum cleaner. Here's one right here that just happens to be hanging out next to me. But Electrolux, because as I say they had killed off Slimline, had no budget machine. They just had the three lights. So they were losing market share, and they thought to themselves, perhaps we need to do something about this. We need a budget light. And that's what they did. They created a budget light. So this one's just going to go down here now, like so. I think it was around 1991, so a couple of years after Lite had launched onto the market. They came up with the Microlite, which is... Why did they choose that name? It kind of makes no sense, because a Microlite is a thing that flies in the sky. It's not a vacuum cleaner. But they went with it. Lux was like, no, we're doing this. It's going to be called the Microlite. Let's do it. Okay, fine. So Microlite went onto the market as the budget cylinder vacuum cleaner from Electrolux. I've had a look back through some of the Argos books, and I've been able to find some prices and some pictures of them. So the very first Microlite was 800 watts, and it had the same style floor tool that the Lite series came with. It's kind of like an oval kind of shape. I don't have one to hand that I can show you. Black tools, 800 watts, and it was on sale for £49.50 in 1992. So that undercut the bottom of the line Z1610 Lite by about £10. And then for some odd reason, they changed it in 93. So Microlite then received a 1000 watt motor, and they changed the floor tool. So it was no longer that sort of funny shaped tool that came with the Lite and the Dolphin series, but it was more akin to a basic floor tool that you'd find with a Panasonic of the time. For some strange reason, when Lux introduced that more budget orientated floor tool, they also dropped the price by 50p. So in 1993, if you wanted an Electrolux vacuum cleaner, but you didn't want to spend very much money, your choice was the Microlite. That's what you bought. If you wanted to save £10, well, there you go, you can save £10. But what's interesting is if you put that £49 through inflation, 30 years ago, £49 was actually £145 in modern money. £145 for the most basic Electrolux cylinder vacuum cleaner. That's quite a lot of money. You didn't get much for your 145 quid, especially considering what you can buy now for 145 quid. So that's just a little history there. That's how the Microlite came to be. Now, I've seen numerous Microlites over my life, and they never really sort of interested me. And then I found one on eBay, which I believe was a buy it now of £28. I looked at the pictures and I thought, oh, do you know what? That actually looks really nice. It looked really clean. It didn't look like it had been used much. I think there are only about 3 pictures on the listing. I was like, oh yeah, all right, buy that. And I think the postage was like £6, something like that. And I thought to myself, that sounds a bit cheap for postage, but okay. So what's that? £34 all in. Buy it now. So I bought it, paid for it, and then waited patiently at the bottom of the stairs, looking at the door longingly, and my watch. Is this ever going to come? So weeks went by, literally weeks went by, and I contacted the seller and said, hi there, I bought this vacuum cleaner from you. It hasn't turned up. And she was like, I don't know, I'll try and track it. So she tried to track it, and it came back as it was out for delivery, I think it was, but it'd been 2 weeks. So she said, well, give it another week. All right then, fine. So another week went past, and basically, to cut a long story short, too late, Royal Mail had lost it. They just lost it. It was gone. It was into the big black hole of RM, never to be seen again. So she refunded me my money. So great. I thought to myself, well, that one's gone, never to be seen again. A week later, so 4 weeks after I'd actually purchased it, she contacted me and said, oh, you'll never guess what, this Uber's just turned up on my doorstep. So it had gone out, it had gone 3 times around the country and then come back to her. And at that point I realised she's in Swansea. So she's 8 miles down the road. And if I'd realised that at the start, I would have gone and picked it up. I wouldn't have trusted it to Royal Mail, I would have just gone to her house, given her some cash, and brought it home. But at the time, I didn't realise. I didn't even look to see where it was. I was probably drunk. So this really nice lady said, "Do you want me to bring it over to you?" I was like, "Yeah, all right then, cool, brilliant." So she turns up at my door with this, and here it is. This is an Electrolux Z1610, which is the facelifted version of the Microlite, the 1000 watt version. So I gave her £30, and she was more than happy with that. She went off with her cash, and here we are now, sat here with this. I'm quite happy with it, actually. In fact, I am more than happy with it because I cannot believe what's in this box, and I cannot believe how well preserved it is. Apparently, this lady's uncle bought it, kept it for a while, used it twice, put it away because he didn't like it. Uncle then went and died. Bless him. Lady cleared out his house, found this, put it on eBay, and here it is with me. Now, I've seen some boxed machines in my time. I have a lot of boxed machines, but I have never seen a machine that is so completely complete. And that's the key with this one. Whilst it's not an incredibly rare, super special vacuum cleaner, it's a Microlite from 93. It's like, ugh, all right, great. At some point in the next 40 years, it might be worth some money. But as it stands at the moment, if it was just the Microlite on its own, you wouldn't bother with it. But the fact that it is so complete is what makes this really, really special. So as you can see, obviously, we have the original box, which is really cool. And it's got the shipping labels on it and everything. And it was bought by Mr. James. He may well have bought it from Argos, actually. That is entirely possible. That looks very much like an Argos label. Made in Britain, would you believe? The time when we actually made things. Lovely picture of the light on the front. Interesting that it says light. It doesn't say Microlite on it. But this is a Microlite. Turn it around to this side, you can see here. I tried to save as much of the box as I possibly could. So we've got 1610 Super 1000 written on the box. So model number. Quite why it says Super, I don't know, because it's not a Super, but it is definitely 1000 watts. Let's open this up and have a look and see what we get. In this box, £49 in Argos in 93, £49. The box itself is absolutely superb. It's still got loads of life left in it. So this is what I mean when I say it is completely complete. Okay, so I'm gonna pull it out of the box, and you'll see exactly what I mean. So not only does the cleaner have its original plastic bag, which we can take off now. Pull that off without breaking it. There we go. Put that down there. There's our Microlite. Oh, it's amazing. It's so long since I've seen one of these. It genuinely is. I have seen them in the past. They've gone through my hands. I've never really been interested in them. But this, just because of how it's been preserved, is the really special part of it. And the fact that the cable still has its original cable tie on it. I mean, that is just unbelievable. I can't think of another cleaner in my collection that has its original cable tie on it to keep it together. It's mind-blowing. And the condition of the cleaner itself is shockingly good. What date was this one? So this is the third week of 93, so January 1993. It's amazing that this is now over 30 years old. Just to show you this, so this is if you just open it out like this, all lights open like this, and the more, hopefully you can see that, the more luxurious models had a bag full piston there, but because this is Microlite, it has nothing. The more luxurious lights had a post motor filter. Because this is Microlite, there is no post motor filter at all in this, and all you have is power on and off. That's it. One pedal, nothing else. That's all you get. This is the original paper bag that would have been fitted to the cleaner, because it's genuine Lux, because it has the printing on it. You see the printing there? So that's the genuine bag that came with it, the first bag. It has all of its built by stickers in here, and the two, it's just so cheap, they put two pre-motor filters in them. And that's all the filtration you get. You get a bag and two pre-motor filters. That's it, nothing else. Because this is budget. This is a budget machine. You don't get anything special at all. So I would guess this machine has been used probably twice. Probably twice, I would say. And the mouldings are there, but you can't... Yeah, they didn't put the date stamps on them, which is interesting. So the machine itself is in excellent shape. Pop in there so we can see them, like so. But there's more. Not just that, there's more. Would you believe? It's the entire book pack here for the cleaner in its original plastic. Just unbelievable, unbelievable. So let's take that out of there. So we have the other bag. It came with two bags when it was new, the two genuine Lux bags. That's obviously never been used, ever. We have the guarantee card here, which has not been filled out. Of course not, because I think the guy used it for 2 weeks and then put it away. We have the Why Worry leaflet, which talks about your guarantees. So it says here, as the world's leading manufacturer of home appliances, Electrolux has a wealth of experience. After all, we have been designing and manufacturing top quality domestic products for over 70 years. Wow, look at that. And then, yeah, you have a little overview there of the Electrolux appliances that were on sale at the time. So we've got some washing machines, dishwasher, fridges. Look at that, beautiful. Those washing machines are fantastic. I would kill for one of those now. Washing machines and dryers, amazing. Microwaves too, look at that. Electrolux branded microwave. We even have the part number sticker there, which would have come with the machine as well. So we keep that. Here we have the Electrolux Electricity Bendix service centres. Aberdeen, Belfast, Birmingham, Cardiff, Glasgow, Northern Leeds, Leicester, Tonbridge. Oh, and before you call a service engineer, please check the following. And it's got two columns for you: upright cleaner and cylinder cleaner. It's quite funny. Cleaner will not run. Have you checked the plug and fuse? Well, yes, I have. And it's knackered. So we've got the service centre list. And we even have the 1610 instruction leaflet. Very, very basic. That's it. That's what all you get. And interestingly, as well, because this was the budget cleaner, you see here, this is what I meant about the floor tool, the budget floor tool. But because this is the Microlite, you only got the all-purpose tool and the crevice tool. With the more luxurious lights, because they stored underneath, you also got the dusting brush as well. Not so on Microlite. The tools do still store, underneath the cleaner. They aren't here because they're in the box. But yeah, you've just got the crevice tool here and the all-purpose tool here. That's it. You didn't get a dusting brush because you only spent £49. So what do you expect? You think you're going to get a dusting brush for £49? Come on, for God's sake! What do you think this is? And then finally, in this box, like a box in a box. I won't pull the box out. But we have the rods and the small tools. Those small tools have never been used. Oh, maybe once. Yeah, once. Got the rods, small tools. You've got the hose here. Very much standard Electrolux fare on the hose. Just very, very similar to what came with the other lights and the Dolphin at the time. Interestingly, it does have the hook here for the multi-purpose tool, but you wouldn't be using that on your light. There's nothing that would fit here for this cleaner. And finally, the budget floor tool. I mean, this is a budget floor tool. It's really light. I mean, it does still have a metal base on it because they all did back then. You've got some brushes, a thread catcher, and that's it. So, I mean, I suppose objectively speaking, this is a better floor tool than you would get with the cheap Chinese shit that you could buy now. But relative to its time, this was definitely like budget, lowest of the low. Yeah, not great. They do tend to like clamp themselves down, these floor tools. They're not particularly easy to use. So yeah, not awesome. Do you see now why I'm so over the moon at this set? It's probably not so much the fact that it's a Microlite. It would have been better if it was a if it was a nicer machine or a rarer machine. But by God, this is absolutely worth saving. 100% worth saving because it's just so complete and it's so nice. Now there is another surprise with this cleaner, and I need to just have a little change around to explain it to you. You're probably wondering why I'm now sat here between a Microlite and a Glider. Well, the reason for that is this cleaner has exactly the same style motor as this cleaner. They have the same style motor, and that's the key to it. And that is why Microlite is the budget version of the Electrolux Lite range. This light, it is considerably heavier than this because it has the full-size Electrolux motor that would have been seen, going right back to the early 70s. The same style motor that's in the 330, the 345, the 2000 series, the 380, 390 Turbomatics, 355, 358, all of those machines had that classic Electrolux motor in them. But because Electrolux wanted to save money, into the Microlite, they put the motor from the Airstream. Because remember, Airstream was 1000 watts. Glider was, I think, between 600 and 800 watts. So it's entirely possible that the very first Microlite had the same motor that was in the Glider. But this one, because it's the slightly facelifted version, has the 1000 watt motor, so it would have had the motor from the Airstream. I might have a picture. If I can find a picture, I'll just flash the picture up now of this machine open, and you can see that the motor inside is the same style as the Electrolux uprights. Hopefully that worked, otherwise I'm going to sit here looking really, really silly. you will notice as well, Lux didn't even bother to make any changes to those Airstream motors. You can see the pulley is still there. The upright pulley to drive the brush roll is still present in this cleaner. It just has a slightly longer top motor mount where the pulley goes through the rubber. It tries not to touch the rubber when it's spinning, but it's still there. So you could, if you wanted to, take the 1000 watt motor out of the Microlite and put it in any Electrolux upright that used that style motor. So if you wanted a 1000 watt Electrolux 502S, all you have to do is find a Microlite, take the motor out of it and put it in the 502S. I have done that in the past, but with Slimline motors. Slimline was the same idea. They used the upright motor in the Slimline series. Why? So in the past, I remember taking those. I think they were between 650 and 750 watts in the Slimline, dependent on if it was early or late. And I swear to God, if you put a 750 watt motor in a 502S, you ain't moving it because it clamps itself down to the carpet. They can actually melt the carpet because the brush roll is spinning so fast and there's so much suction to clamp it down, it can burn the carpet, which is not great. So yeah, I would advise you not to do that. It's probably not the best idea. But that, in a long and rambling nutshell, is the history of the Lite series, the history of the Microlite, the fact that this one is a really, really nice one and worth keeping. Can you just go, can you go down there a minute? Thank you. You're sort of in my way. This one is definitely worth keeping, and a potted history of Electrolux going absolutely batshit crazy and using upright vacuum cleaner motors in their cylinder machines. So, we're not going to see this one running just yet. This is definitely one that we should do the deep clean test on, so you will see it working in one of those videos. I hope you enjoyed that. I enjoyed doing that video because I like talking through the things, and hopefully you guys will be able to fill in any knowledge gaps I've got, and if I've got anything wrong as well, if you can tell me if I've got anything wrong, and just correct my facts. I do all of this from like what's in here, and this is like a jumbled mess most of the time. So if I've got anything wrong, please tell me if I've got anything wrong, and then I will update my own knowledge as well. So there we go, the 1993 Electrolux Microlite, £49 in all its dubious glory. You guys take care, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. And by the way, guys, when I was talking about Electrolux killing off the Slimline series, this is the machine that I was talking about.